What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy bringing y'all another video, man. And as you can already see from what we're looking at, Google admits to censorship pushed by Biden administration and invites back banned users. Now, this comes as Google's basically reviewing their YouTube videos about anybody that was banned for COVID-19 and any election misinformation. Now, I was part of almost getting banned from YouTube. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I did upload videos about COVID-19, about the vaccine, about Fauci's emails. And when I tell y'all they almost got me up and out of YouTube, they almost got rid of me. Just to show y'all I'm not capping. If we look here, this video is from 3 years ago. This is my video. And this is what it says. Federal government HHS whistleblower exposes vaccine is full of BS. YouTube removed my video and YouTube gave me a strike, exactly. And then just to show you guys even more information about it. So they said here how my content violated the policy. YouTube doesn't allow claims about COVID-19 vaccines that contradict, what the experts said, even though the science changed every day. Wear a mask, wear 2 masks, take the shot. You can still go outside. Okay, now you got the shot, but you still can't go outside. So, the rules just kept changing. They gave me a strike for this. This is my first strike. I got another strike, like I said, about Fauci's emails with, Fauci basically telling his family do something opposite of what they were telling the public. So these expert consensus World Health Organization people, who is a bunch of BS. We all know that now because everything that, people who got banned from YouTube, conservatives, people who are just speaking about the vaccines in general, COVID, they got them up and out of there. You know what I mean? So this is pretty important that, Google has brought everybody's stuff back. I've watched a few people talking about it and they're, excited that their stuff is coming back to YouTube and YouTube's doing this, but they're like, man, we need a sorry, like you guys got rid of everybody. But let's just read a little bit here. This is the Washington Times. We'll read just a little bit and then I'll switch to something that basically gives a shorter viewpoints. But those who saw their YouTube videos and other content banned during COVID-19 and the 2020 election were invited back to the platform Tuesday in an astonishing mea culpa from the company that blamed their censorship on Biden admin. Now, if we remember closely, right, this isn't the first time that the Biden administration went into these social media, big tech, or any type of company and told them what to do. With Meta and Facebook, they told Mark Zuckerberg, don't let that laptop about Hunter Biden get out. You better suppress that. People can share it, but suppress that story. Same thing for Twitter with Jack Dorsey. Suppress that story. As time has gone on, we've seen that even though they keep trying to say that Trump is a fascist Nazi dictator, it's crazy to me that the person who is going to social media companies or their whole administration and telling them, you need to stop this type of content from being showed, you need to suppress these views, it all came from the Biden administration. That's tough. It's always the side that's telling somebody they're this and that actually ends up doing it. But anyway, Alphabet Inc., Google, the company that operates Google and YouTube, wrote in a letter Tuesday to Congress they were forced into removing content by Biden and his senior aides. It is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden admin, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content. Alphabet's lawyers wrote to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. Well, you guys did not fight for that effort, because if you fought for the effort, then you wouldn't have done it. Just because you're pressured by the president doesn't mean, you have to do it. But apparently every single one of these big tech people fell for it. So we'll go here to the, judiciary, house.gov. And this just gives a really brief rundown of everything that actually happened. So Google has admitted the following. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. On some of this stuff, like, I knew people were even getting banned. I specifically just basically said in my video, like, You know, the science isn't making sense. They keep changing the rules. You know, they said it would cure this, but then it doesn't for that. They said is this, you know, natural immunity is better than getting the vaccine, but then that's taken back. You know, ivermectin. Those who say ivermectin, like Joe Rogan, oh, you know, don't worry about it. He's spreading misinformation. So it's a lot of nonsense. The Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong, but like I said, YouTube still did it anyway. If they knew it was unacceptable and wrong, why did they do it? Especially during the height of COVID. Anyways, public debate should never come to an expense of relying authorities. The company would never use third-party fact checkers. Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American free speech. American speech, not free speech, including the removal of lawful content. So this is basically just like a quick little like overview of, you know, basically what YouTube has said. But I find it very crazy that, you know, everybody said this is what, you know, the Biden admin was doing, especially for all these different things, because certain stories wouldn't circulate. I mean, your video would get hit with a ban, a censor, a shadow ban, a take out the algorithm instantly. Like literally anytime I would make content over, you know, COVID or anything, I would get a strike immediately. Oh, this is COVID misinformation. And they even started updating the policies, you know, like later on as time went on to try to cover for it. Because at first when they used to ban people for COVID misinformation, according to them, then they would just say, oh, you're banned. It's just misinformation. There's no cited sources. There's no policy that they came out with. And then about like 2 years later, they came out with a policy saying you can't say this stuff. And then they started putting those little tags underneath people's videos. COVID-19, a little Wikipedia thing. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, my whole thing is if the information, you know, is good, you should be able to let people like parse their information and figure out what is the truth. If you have one side constantly changing the rules, constantly changing what people who are vaccinated have to do versus unvaccinated, whether it's really contagious or it's not contagious, whether this group is more susceptible to it or this group's not, and people are just trying to get to the facts, and then you're banning all of them. And what's crazy, another thing is they only really banned one side. I didn't see liberals and stuff. I mean, there are some liberals and Democrats who, you know, were saying, oh, you know, let's, you know, halt on the vaccine. Let's halt on some of this COVID stuff. It's not making sense. But for the most part, this only really affected like conservatives. And they really did this, in my opinion, to kind of not rig the election in their favor, but to take opposing viewpoints or opposing, you know, thought or people's own thoughts about COVID and push their own narrative. But I don't want this video to be too long, if I'm being honest with you guys. Like I said, I just find it kind of crazy that, you know, now they admit to that Biden did this. And what's funny to me is like, why did it take Google so long to admit that the Biden admin did this when like literally every CEO of every big tech already admitted this? Mark Zuckerberg admitted it. Jack Dorsey admitted it. Facebook and Twitter are two of the biggest apps. Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call yourselves now, they own Instagram. So you got censored on Instagram too. There are plenty of posts I put up that they took down. This is misinformation, or they throw a little label on top of it and say, click here if you really want to know this. And it's something very mundane. But yeah, man, like I said, I was almost banned, you know, for these policies that made no sense. Like, I just find it funny that, you know, now they want to admit it. But yeah, man, looks like the Biden admin just keeps getting exposed for their fascist and dictatorship and, you know, all sorts of ways that the left now calls the right, but they were really the ones who did it first. So yeah, but that's all for today, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. It's been your boy Chad, and I'm out. Peace.